Have you ever wondered why we call this crisp, colorful vegetable a bell pepper? It's a name so familiar that most of us never stop to question it. Yet when you think about it, the name is actually pretty odd. A pepper that isn't spicy and shaped like a bell? How did such a mild, sweet, blocky vegetable end up carrying a name shared with some of the hottest chilies on Earth? Today, we're digging into the fascinating history, language, and botanical confusion behind one of the world's most common vegetables, the bell pepper. And trust me, the story spans continents, cultures, and centuries of misidentification. Let's explore, right here, on History of Simple Things. To start, we need to go back to the very roots of the plant itself. Bell peppers belong to the species Capsicum annuum, a group that includes cayenne, jalapenos, poblano peppers, and many others. All of them originated in the Americas, particularly in regions of modern-day Mexico, Central America, and northern South America. Indigenous peoples had been cultivating and using various capsicum plants for thousands of years. Long before Europe even knew they existed, they were not only eaten but often used as medicine, seasoning, and even weaponized in smoke or paste form for defense. But there's something important to highlight. To the native cultures, these plants weren't peppers at all. They had their own names and classifications. The word pepper wasn't attached to them until Europeans came into the picture. When Christopher Columbus arrived in the Americas, he was searching for black pepper, Piper nigrum, the spice that was one of the world's most valuable commodities at the time. Black pepper was so prized that it was used as currency in some parts of Europe, and finding a direct route to its source was a major economic goal. So when Columbus encountered spicy fruits growing abundantly in the new lands, he assumed he had found a relative of pepper. Of course, botanically, he was completely wrong. Black pepper belongs to an entirely different family and plant structure. But because the new fruits added heat to food like black pepper did, Columbus and other explorers immediately labeled them peppers. The name stuck, and soon every capsicum, from fiery habaneros to the mildest bell, became known in English as a type of pepper. So the pepper part of bell pepper is essentially a historical misunderstanding that survived for centuries. Now that explains the pepper, but what about the bell? That part of the name is a little more straightforward, at least visually. Bell peppers, especially the common varieties sold in markets, have a plump, squat shape with indented lobes that often resemble the outline of a bell. If you imagine an upside-down church bell or a handbell, the resemblance becomes clearer. Early English speakers needed a way to distinguish the mild, sweet varieties from the heat-packed chili peppers, so the name bell pepper became a natural fit. The term gained popularity in North America, where the vegetable became widely cultivated and consumed. The bell-like shape, combined with the already established pepper label, created the name we all know today. But interestingly, not every English-speaking country uses it. In the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand, bell peppers are usually called capsicums, derived directly from the scientific genus Capsicum. In some places, particularly the Caribbean, they're known as sweet peppers. Meanwhile, in Spanish-speaking countries, they're pimientos, and in France, they're poivrons. This global variety of names reveals a lot about how confusing the original pepper mislabeling was. Many languages chose to sidestep the confusion entirely by either describing the plant's sweetness or referencing its scientific classification. But in the United States, Canada, and the Philippines, the term bell pepper remains the dominant name. What's even more fascinating is how the bell pepper developed into the modern, sweet, crunchy vegetable we're familiar with today. The original wild capsicum plants were small and significantly hotter. Over centuries of selective breeding, farmers gradually cultivated varieties with reduced capsaicin, the compound responsible for spicy heat. Bell peppers, in fact, contain almost zero capsaicin, making them the mildest of all capsicum varieties. This lack of heat is why they taste so sweet, which is also why some regions prefer calling them sweet peppers. Their color variations, green, red, yellow, orange, purple, and even white, represent different levels of ripeness and specific cultivars. A green bell pepper is simply an unripe version of a red one, which explains why red peppers taste sweeter and have a richer nutritional profile. Beyond their appearance and flavor, bell peppers also carry a culinary significance that helps solidify their name across different cultures. They became essential ingredients in dishes like fajitas, stir-fries, salads, and stuffed peppers. Their large, hollow interior made them ideal for stuffing, reinforcing the bell imagery since you can think of them as edible containers. Their versatility and mild flavor helped them spread quickly across Europe, Asia, and Africa after the Columbian Exchange. And as these cultures classified and renamed foods according to their local languages and traditions, the bell pepper name persisted mainly where English influence remained strong. So the next time you pick up a bell pepper in the grocery store, remember that its name is the result of a global journey filled with mistaken identity, visual metaphor, and centuries of culinary evolution. It's called a pepper because early explorers misidentified it as a relative of black pepper. And it's called a bell because its rounded, lobed shape reminded English speakers of a hanging bell. What seems like a simple grocery item actually reflects a fascinating blend of history, botany, and language. And all it takes is looking a little deeper into everyday things to realize how much story they really carry. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.